What's going on, guys? Chad here with Light Shooting, and welcome to this new top list video. So today we're talking about the top ear protection under $50. Now, to be clear, these are not like the top best 6 or whatever under $60 or under $50. They're just 6 different options, and I'm going to choose which one is the best value out of these for under $50. So let's get started. First off, to give you an idea of what we're working with, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 over the ears. We have 2 that are electronic over the ear, and then I have 2 that are in the ear. So we have a Tack Life one here. This one was about 10 bucks. We have Ear Pro Faux Show here, which was about $20. We have some decibels, which are in ear. They actually mold to your ear. These were about $20. Some Surefire Sonic Defender ones, I think they're called. Those ones are, I want to say like 25 bucks. And then we have the Leight Impact Sports, which were like, depending on where you get them, if you can get them on Amazon for like $35 to $40, I want to say. Most stores, you'll see them for $40 to $50. And then we have the Walker's Razor Slim electronic ones. These ones, I want to say these were about 45 as well. And that was on Amazon. So all of these can be found on Amazon. Those links will be down in the video description below. Now, I'm going to be ranking these based on 3 different criteria. Number 1 is how well they actually block out sound. Number 2 is going to be like usability. Like for instance, when you hold, like with huge ones like this, you know, you have them on, they stick out to here, and you hold a rifle up, are they getting in the way of getting a solid cheek rest? And then, you know, like carrying them around when you don't have them up, if you have them around your neck or something, are they like choking you? How do they feel? That kind of thing. Are they too tight on your head? And then finally is just aesthetics. How do they look? So that's it for my spiel. Let's get started. All right, so first up, we have these earmuffs made by Tack Life. Now, they're fairly adjustable. They sort of come up and down. They can go pretty dang wide. These ones are $10.97 on Amazon. They are Prime. They have like 64 reviews or something, and like a 4.5 overall star review. So they're pretty well received in the online community. Now, the biggest reason I went with these is they boast the highest decibel rating, whatever, I don't know, whatever it's called, out of all these. This says that 34 is their number, and 34 is about the highest I've seen. So anyways, it's like a number that's supposed to tell you how quiet the world is. Anyways, throwing these on, whew, it's quiet. It's quiet. You can see me at the range here shooting these things. Now, I did shoot with rifle as well, but I only filmed the handgun stuff. Anyways, they're very, very quiet. Like, there's no denying it. In the noise reduction category, this thing's getting like a 10 out of a 10. I mean, it's probably as quiet as you're gonna get, which, you know, does suck if you're trying to hear someone talking to you, because it just absolutely blocks everything out. Now, while trying to shoulder a rifle, you do get a little bit of this cup being in the way. It's actually not as bad as I thought, but it's definitely there. You kind of have to, you know, raise it up right up to the bottom of your ear and tilt your head a bit. So it's not ideal, but it does work, and they're 11 bucks. So maybe we should add that category. Let's add price to a category. So we're now dealing with 4 categories, and this thing's gonna get a 10 out of 10 on price as well. As far as usability, I'm gonna give it like a 6 out of a 10, because it does work. It's just, you kind of have to, you know, move a little bit differently with them. And looks, that's where these things are suffering. I'm gonna have to give these like a 1 out of 10 on looks. Noise reduction, 10 out of 10. Usability, 6 out of 10. Aesthetics, 1 out of 10. But price, 10 out of 10. On the green light scale, they are getting a 27 out of 40. Okay, let's move on. Next up, we have Ear Pro Faux Show. Now, I've done a review on these before. These things are, I want to say, like $20. They're like one of the highest rated earmuffs on Amazon. When you search for ear protection, they're one of the first things to come up. They are Prime, all that good stuff. Tons and tons of good reviews. One thing I will say about them is when you first get them, they are super tight. Like, really, really tight. You need to stretch these bad boys out. But I've had these things for, I don't know, like 6 months now or something, and they fit fine now. Like, they're great. So they do stretch out. It's pretty tight. They're still pretty tight on my head after wearing those. They're fine though, but they do also boast a 34, I want to say, on the whole decibel rating system. So they're very, very, very quiet. They're probably as quiet as any other headphones I've used. So in the noise reduction, 10 out of 10. Now, usability, it's weird because the form of these things, it does, it gets thinner and everything right here. But for some reason, I could not get a solid cheek mount on my rifle with this. I kept running into this, and I don't know if it was just that day. I don't know that I've ever shot rifles with these before, but yeah, man, I was having an awful time. These were the worst experience I had while trying to get up on that rifle. So because of that, I feel like it's a limited experience, but because of that, I'm gonna give these like a 4 out of 10 on the usability factor. Next up, we have looks. I think they're just fine. They're a semi-muted color. They're relatively thin. So yeah, looks will just, 7 out of 10, pretty average. And then price-wise, 20. So I think that's a pretty solid price for any ear protection that's solid. So I'm gonna give that like a 9. So we're looking at 30 out of 40 on the green light scale for these bad boys. So these are already better than the Tack Life. Moving up to the next highest priced item are these in-ear headphones, in-ear ear protection by Decibels. Now, these are interesting. I've never heard of these or used them before, but basically this orange portion here is actually silicone. And you just drop these into a few ounces of really hot water, like just get a mug, microwave it or whatever, drop these in for a couple minutes, and when you take them out, you put them in your ear and then you just mold them, and they completely mold to your inner ear. So that's really cool, but the thing is, that's just this orange part. That just makes them fit. These tips are what actually take out the sound. So once I got them all fitted to my ears, they were great. They do have a couple different sizes of sort of earplugs here, and they have some foam ones. These are like rubber. Using these at the range was not fun, unfortunately. I loved these. I thought they were going to be so cool. They boast like a 23 on that decibel rating system. These cost about $20 on Amazon, by the way, and they are Prime, and they do have pretty good ratings. But I feel like they're a little more for the casual person, maybe the concert goer or something like that, who just wants to kind of drown out the world. But I don't know that it's intended to fully drown out gunshots, because they were freaking loud. They were painfully loud with a handgun, and with a rifle, I shot once with the rifle because I didn't want to keep going. Unfortunately, on the canceling out noise portion of this, these get a 1 out of 10. Moving on to usability, they're very usable. They're simple to mold. It's cool that you can remold them. They're cool. So I guess usability is let's give it 8. Maybe not 10, but let's give it 8. Aesthetics, I think they're the coolest looking of the bunch. So 10 out of 10 on aesthetics. It's cool that they just fully mold into your ear. And then finally is price, $20. I think that's good. So we'll give it another 10. Okay, yeah, we'll give it another 10. So we've got 10 for price, we've got 10 for looks, we've got 8 for usability, and 1 for sound protection. That's bringing these bad boys in at a 29 overall. I do like the little pouch it comes with too. Next up, at the $25-ish range, we've got the Surefire. I do like how this has this little case. Pop these boys out. These are the ones that I've used these for years. I really enjoy these. They mold pretty well to your ears with these little rubber pieces. They do have different attachments in here for different sized ears. And then on the outside, they do actually have this little portion which opens up, and it allows you to hear voices better. It's kind of the whole electronic thing where lower decibel noises can get through this, but it tightens up when gunshots go off. So using these for noise reduction, they were great. Now keep in mind, I was at an outdoor range. I've worn these at outdoor and indoor. They're not quite enough for indoor ranges. I want to say these are like a 23 on that decibel rating as well. I think pretty much most of the rest of them are. So anyways, they're not quiet enough for indoor ranges for me. I have relatively sensitive ears. If I'm gonna go to an indoor range, I have these and then something over them as well. But for outdoor, they're plenty quiet. Rifles and handguns, no problem whatsoever. Popping that little piece open, by the way, like doesn't change anything. Like it's still the same amount of quiet with those open, and it somewhat is easier to hear people talk. I wouldn't say it's a huge difference, but it does help. Noise reduction, I'm gonna give it like a 7 out of 10, pretty average. Usability, extremely usable. I love how they have this cord, because when you take them out, you can just drop them on your neck and you don't have to keep track of them. Like with these decibels, they're individual, so you have to keep track of where they're at. I love how I can just drape these. And they're obviously not getting in the way of anything as far as rifles and stuff like that. I'm gonna give it a full 10 out of 10 on usability. Aesthetics, I think they're extremely good looking. You know, they're not in your way. They go into your ear really well. I think they look cool. So aesthetics wise, I'm gonna give it maybe not a full 10 because they don't enhance how cool you look, but they certainly don't detract at all. So I'm gonna give them an 8 on aesthetics. And finally is price. They were about $25-ish, which is great. So I'm gonna go with an 8 on price. So 33 for these bad boys out of 40. Next up is probably like the most popular ear protection I see out there, and that is the Leight Impact Sports. They're really, really slim. They're pretty dang sleek. Let me see how much these cost on Amazon. All right, on Amazon, you're at $38.76. This thing has 13,600 reviews, and it has a 4.5-star review. They are Prime. MSRP looks like it's like $74. That's ridiculous. For $40, they're pretty good. The big reason why I think these are so popular is because they are electronic. They have this little switch here which you can turn on. It does take a battery and it amplifies, so like if someone talking at a lower decibel level, it actually amplifies that so you can hear them right in your ear. And then, you know, gunshots and stuff like that, anything above a certain decibel level, it closes off and it shuts off, and it's very quiet. These also do have an auxiliary input. If you want to listen to music or something, I assume it would work. I've never tried it. But yeah, so pretty cool headphones. I will say that they're not the most quiet in the world. I certainly don't wear these by themselves in indoor ranges. It's just not quiet enough. Outdoor, they're fine, but they're not quite quiet enough for me at any times. The voice though, like the amplification of voice is so cool. It's a trip. Like you'll be talking to someone with these things on, they'll be like, you know, 10, 20 feet away from you, and it sounds like they're right. Like you can hear them better with these on than without. It's a really, really cool thing. But yeah, so in terms of noise cancellation, I'm giving these like a 6 out of 10. I really, yeah, they're not quiet enough for me. Even with these things, like with this, with the electronics turned all the way up so you can hear, you know, people really, really well, the gunshot is fairly loud. It's like a weird muffled loud, but it's still slightly uncomfortably loud. Usability's fine. I don't know why, but they do tend to hit my cheek rest a little bit. It's not terrible, but it is something to note. So I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10, just average. And then looks are very cool. I think, you know, yeah, you definitely fit in the shooting world with this, aesthetics-wise. I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. Price-wise, $40, I think is pretty good. I think that's pretty average for something, so I'm gonna give that a 7 out of 10. 30 out of 40 on the Greenlight scale. Now, last but not least, is Walker's Razor Slim earmuffs. These are dope, man. I honestly haven't seen these until I did this video and I was ordering some stuff off Amazon and I picked these up. As far as noise cancellation, I think they're rated like a 23 or something on that decibel level as well. But for some reason, they seem quieter than this one, like a decent amount quieter. I'm gonna give them just an average 7 out of 10. Outdoor, they're 100% quiet enough. Indoor, I honestly haven't used these indoors, so I'm not gonna go there, but I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10 for average. Usability, I didn't have any issues with these at all, like coming up with it on cheek rest or anything like that. They were totally fine. I don't know what the difference was, but yeah, I really like these. They're also like a little bit heavier and a little bit more just like solid. Like these things, yeah, I don't know what it is, but these feel much, much higher quality than these right out of the box. Even up to this point, there's more cushion, there's more padding. It just looks cooler on top. Yeah, Before we go on, I should mention that these are electronic as well. They've got the same dial you can turn up to hear people talk. They've also got an auxiliary port under here. It's kind of nice that it's blocked out by this big rubber piece. These work incredibly well. Again, just like these, you can hear someone 10, 20 feet away like they're just right up in your ear. It's a weird phenomenon, but with these turned up all the way and these turned up all the way, the gunshots are much, much quieter in this than they are in these. Across the board, they're quieter in this. So I think I want to raise that from 7 to 8, because if these were a 6, I'm going with an 8 on these bad boys for noise reduction. Looks wise, I think they're just as cool, if not cooler than these. So I'm giving it a full 10 out of 10 on looks. And price, that's where these do get a little bit of a ding. These are about $45, I want to say, on Amazon. So they're the highest priced. You know, we're coming right up on that $50 mark, but you know, you get what you pay for, right? So relative to these, they're expensive, but relative to the entire market, they're not that much. So I'm going to give it an 8 on price as well. 34 out of 40 on these bad boys. So there we have it. On the Greenlight scale of the best ear protection under $50, this bad boy is bringing home the gold. Walker's Razor Slim earmuffs. By the way, Walker has no idea that I'm making this. This isn't sponsored. They didn't send me this. I paid for this on Amazon. So yeah, so this is my very favorite out of the bunch here. This is my favorite for over the ear, certainly. In the ear, Sonic Defenders all day, and as a second place all day long, I'm going with these. Third place, as I mentioned, we're tied here with EarPro for Show. If you want pure noise reduction, these all the way. If you want to be able to hear people talk, Howard Leight Impact Sports. Tack Life, if you don't care what you look like and you just want to shut out the world and you don't want to pay $20, these bad boys for 11 bucks. And bringing up the rear, decibels, which is too bad because they're cool. I don't know, maybe it's user error, but those things were a nightmare to shoot with. I just finished the EarPro video and totally forgot to mention that I am going to be giving away all of these EarPros to my Patreon supporters. That's what they wanted to see this month, is sort of a roundup of good ear protection. So I used the money from Patreon to buy all these, and I'm going to be giving them away to those Patreon subscribers. So if you're interested in helping out with the channel in the future, helping decide what things to review and possibly winning those things at a giveaway at the end of the month, make sure to check out my Patreon. That is linked down in the video description below. Sorry about the interruption with the vlog camera here. Like I said, I just totally forgot. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, the sort of higher quality nature of it, I say higher quality as I'm holding this camera, but you know what I mean, the past video. If you enjoyed that, if you want to see more videos like that, please hit that thumbs up button. That lets me know that you guys are enjoying it. It also helps out the channel a ton. Leave me a comment down in the video description below. Let me know your thoughts, your favorite EarPro, blah, blah, blah. You know the drill. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time on Greenlight Shooting.